गणेशाय नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम, कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम. Can someone recollect anything that we saw last? We form the link and move ahead. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes, Kalaji, certainly.
हाँ, whatever I caught, काम बंद करना भी आना चाहिए.
Yuktahara Viharasya.
Yes.
Yes, yes, Kalaji. We have to learn to. I think that's
Very
very
important.
connected with Payalji's question also.
Yes.
Yes.
And like
Yuktahara,
someone told
Yukta
me,
Vihara. Yes,
a
yes.
homemaker does 2-minute work 24 hours of the day. Remember that. So stop.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So a nice point shared by Kalaji. Yes, Mehtaji is adding something.
Yeah, so there was a focus on, he focused on the discipline, especially as far as sleep and food is concerned. It has to be regulated. And then mind and intellect has to converge on self to basically reach the true, yoga with the divine.
Ji, ji. So this aspect of regulating sleep, regulating food, Krishna says it is bad for those who are not regulating, those who are not exercising control over their intake. Imagine somebody eats a lot of junk food and after overeating, can that person sit and meditate? It's not possible. So it's not like Krishna is banning somebody from walking on the path. It is just a simple cause and effect here. Same way, somebody who has a tendency to sleep, ask the person to start meditating within a moment. The meditation will not take place, but the sleep might take place. So, this is something Krishna is saying some control must be done, some regulation is to be done. And he talked about that dhyana also, dhyana having a place for meditation. Have your own sacred place, have your own sacred garden of tranquility. One place where you are not going to be disturbed, one time where you can recharge yourself at one place because we have difficulties at times. Sometimes we are not able to immediately face certain things. Sometimes thoughts really overwhelm us. Sometimes the past experiences come towards us. Well, all of these, I think if we just stay controlled and find that place, and Krishna has told, how do we do that? He says you can find a place that is clean, a place that is find the place clean or make your place clean. And that is the simpler thing to do. And second is it should be neither too high nor too low and have an asana. I don't think he is talking about anything like what should be the height of that room where you're meditating or anything else, but just these two, three things. And he talks about keeping a regularity, a discipline. So maybe we can all resolve, can we not, to take some time out every day. We say we all want quality time with our friends, quality time with our family. When do we get quality time with ourselves? We almost never. We say we are too busy for ourselves. I think that's not right. We should take some time out. Only then will we be able to overcome. We all have certain difficulties. Sometimes it can be physical, it can be mental, it can be emotional, it can be a combination. And most of the time, physical ailments are manifested because of some other pressing mental and emotional troubles. Psychosomatic link is there. So, at least for that reason, let's just try like a therapy, a home remedy. Let's just sit and try to connect. So, with this, we go further. 19th shloka, we'll continue now. Hari Om. Yatha Deepo Nivatastho Nengate Sopamasprata Yogino Yatachittasya Yunjato Yogamatmana. So like the light of the lamp that burns with a steady face, motionless and still, in a windless place. So too is the mind of the yogi, of the awakened self, who has consciously attained mastery over himself. So it is a beautiful imagery here. Krishna is talking about a lamp in a windless place. Just imagine, visualize it. How does it look? It's so steady. Probably even looking at it gives you a kind of meditative experience, isn't it? Sri Aurobindo had talked about, I mean, Swami Vivekananda has also talked about that. Focusing, doing a tarataka on the lamp, just focusing. Because just look at it. How does it move? It moves from down to upwards. If you keep focusing, maybe you will also, that light which is there in front of you, it will start, inspiring you to think right things. So this is like a lamp in a windless place. So there's no flickering. Just like that, that is the yogi's mind. The yogi's mind is going to be steady, irrespective of outer sensual disturbances. Yogi's mind does not simply react to every stimulus. It chooses, it is able to look at everything with poise. Mana, apamana, stuti, ninda, everything can be looked at with a poise. That is the yogi who has attained mastery over what? A mastery over himself. First thing we have to, no matter if you want to become a best player, a great sportsman, what is the thing you have to learn? First, mastery over mind, mastery over body, mastery over oneself. You want to become a good teacher, mastery over oneself. You want to become a good cook also, again, mastery over oneself. Really, every action that you need, I mean, every action that needs to be performed can be done best only when you are having self control. And Krishna is telling, look at the mind of a yogi. It is not going to travel at all. It's going to be steady. It is going to be silent. It is going to be poised. Um, the experience that comes from keeping a very quiet mind, it itself is very refreshing, a very relishing experience of life. Just if you can sit quietly in one place. Most of the time, that is only difficult. No? We always want to do something. We feel our value is only if I do something, I'm of some value, or I have to constantly keep doing something. Then I feel I'm doing something, contributing. Otherwise, I'm doing nothing. But that is not the case. We should be able to. If we can sit in a dark room without our devices and simply quietly sit for even 5 to 8 minutes, well, you can say you have actually found out a great friend inside of you. Like they said, Atmaiva Bandhur Atmana or Atmaiva Ripur Atmana. You are at peace in your own company. That is the state of a yogi. The mind is free there. Krishna goes on further. He says, Yatro Paramato Chittam Niruddham Yoga Sevaya यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति. Where the mind is tamed by a disciplined will, by the awakened knowledge, it is purified and still. And the awakened being perceives the self by the self's gnosis, thus dwelling in the contented state of supreme bliss. It's like your conscience or your consciousness itself, it becomes mirror like. What is it going to reflect? Well, it is going to reflect what is inside. What is inside? Well, if you find out what is inside, well, that is going to be reflecting on the outside also. That is what we see Krishna telling here. The mind has been tamed by what? By discipline, by a will, an aspiration. I want to control my mind. I want to have a great poise. This is something which is very important, isn't it? Because mind takes us everywhere. Somebody who is always scared of things, that person will have to, summon the courage. I want to be fearless. Or someone's mind is very, very what we call chanchal or always fluctuating. That person must aspire. I want my mind to be controlled. I want my mind to be still. Somebody is having nightmares of the past always. Well, again, that person, I want to be able to come to terms with what has happened, but I want to see forward also. All this can happen only when we take certain personal efforts. And when that is done with that discipline, you receive a knowledge that will sometimes make you calm, a knowledge that will liberate you, a knowledge that will make you blissful. You will experience Ananda. Ananda is what every yogi aspires for. Ananda is the reason why we have all taken birth. If somebody asks, why are we born? To experience Ananda, to experience bliss, a bliss that is not going to leave us. It's not going to be sometimes today I'm feeling happy, then I'm feeling sad. It is beyond the dualities of happiness and sorrow. That steady bliss. A simple example, if we want to get on a everyday life, or what must be this kind of Ananda, is probably if you see interaction of a grandparent with a very young grandchild. These two generations really have nothing to give and take from each other. The grandchild may be just a small baby, the baby doesn't understand anything. But whatever the child does, the grandparent is going to just enjoy, isn't it? Because this is one life which is completed and going towards the next journey, and that is a life which is starting. And in that interaction, if the same instead of the child, grandchild, you keep the child or the son or daughter, reactions are different. But here there is no what we can say direct reaction. Many times I would say just as an example to visualize. Karaji is saying something. Yes, please feel free to unmute.
Because interest is always dearer than the principle.
What, Ji? What?
Interest is always dearer than the principle. So,
Interest is all.
so
Okay.
grandkids are our interest.
Okay. Right. But that ananda is something we must experience. So that is experienced by that person. It is like suddenly the you are able to, it's like we saw the story of the duckling, isn't it? Looking at the mirror and seeing the reflection. Wow, oh, I am the Rajahamsa. I am a Rajahamsa indeed. So let's continue. This bliss is our purpose. This bliss is the consequence. This bliss is what we must aspire. A bliss that comes into our life which will never leave us. If we can really get that, our life will be so different, isn't it? And the beautiful part is that bliss will be able to share it with others. So let us see now. Krishna goes on. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grahya matindriyam vetti yatra nachayvayam stitaschalati tattvata. When the infinitely blissful self's truth is thus known, perceived beyond the domains that the senses can own, the yogi is established firmly in the awakened state from the origins divine. Such a being does not deviate. I repeat once more. When the infinitely blissful self's truth is thus known, perceived beyond the domains that the senses can own, the yogi is established firmly in the awakened state from the origins divine. Such a being does not deviate. It's when this infinitely blissful self truth is understood. Swatma Ramoham, I have realized. Swena Swasmin Swayam Brahma, Sway Mahimni Swanubhutam. That person has said, oh, yes, I have realized that divinity is there. And this is a realization that is not coming from the senses. It is a realization that will come from beyond the senses. It is what we call an extrasensory perception. What happens then? Then the yogi is firmly established in that state of consciousness. And then it will never deviate. The yogi will never deviate from the origins, from the divine origins. It's like once you realize that I don't want to be trapped. A drug addict realizing that I don't want a powdery paradise. what will that happen after that? After that realization, the drug addict will never try to go nearer to a drug, isn't it? It will understand that this is an addiction which is not real. I want an experience of a bliss that is beyond all of this. That understanding will only take. And if, when a realization comes, you will not do that mistake again, isn't it? It is something like that for the Rishi. The Rishi has tasted a bliss. That bliss is something divine. Then it will never leave. The yogi will never leave that particular path. Krishna goes on, he says, Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. I repeat once more. Yam labdhva param labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. This is the gain. This is the gain of gains, the greatest treasure. Nothing is greater or even comparable in measure. When that unperturbed state is thoroughly gained, even by the worst grief, one can't be disturbed or pained. Krishna is saying this. This is the gain of gains, the greatest treasure. Nothing is greater or even comparable in measure. When that unperturbed state is thoroughly gained, even by the worst grief, one can't be disturbed or pained. This is something. When you get that realization, this is an experience which is it's like something which cannot be compared at all. That's an experience which will not change. It is such an experience that will allow you to be so steady that there is going to be no news that is going to disturb you. It's like at that state, it's what we call vairagya. A vairagya, a kind of a full detachment, meaning you will hear everything. News will be news. We'll not call it good news, bad news, worst news, nothing. You're experiencing things, you're conscious. And in that state, even the worst grief will not disturb you. Most of the time, what happens in our life? Best moments are ruined by what? By some inputs only, isn't it? Some inputs from the senses, from inputs from outside. I saw this. I saw my best friend doing something which is unforgivable. I heard something, everything was going all right, and suddenly I heard something. Or sometimes I got very angry and I said something, and then I am feeling guilty of saying that. I think so many such reasons they come into our life to disturb the state of quietude. But when you reach that state, Krishna says nothing. Nothing is there. And that is why it is the greatest of greatest gains. Now, I think, is this not a worthy gain that we can all receive? Or isn't it something as worthy of aspiring? I am going to be blissful irrespective of what people are going to tell me. Irrespective of what is happening in my life, I can choose to be blissful. Most difficult news also I can deal, isn't it? Because if you're disturbed, what's going to happen? Nothing good is going to happen by getting disturbed. At least for that reason, we can, push ourselves out, isn't it? Anybody, just really let us see if is it practical, is it worthy such an experience.
Yes, it is worthy.
Saritaji says it's worthy. Why is it, Saritaji? Why do you
I,
deem it worthy?
I don't want to say it, but I mean, few months before there was a theft in my house,
Okay.
and the thieves almost disturbed everything in my house. And
Yeah.
by grace of God, I don't know. I did not feel that grief. I
Okay.
means at this age, everybody wanted to tell me that you have a great loss and all that, but I don't know what helped me to come out of all this. So I
So it's
think
like
it's
a
better.
shock absorber, isn't it, Ji, for the
Yes, yes,
shocks?
yes,
That's
yes.
that's wonderful. Ji. It's a very difficult thing to lose things. Some of your possessions are lost. They make a person disturbed. There was this fire, I think, in California, isn't it? Very recently. It was a very terrible fire. I remember a particular interview of one of the actors of Hollywood. A lot of people generally say actors are not, they are superficial or they're not very deep, but it's not true. And this was a very interesting interview. It was an experience for me of a person from another culture who has not really read the Gita, but is practicing a principle of the Gita, what we talk about Vairagya. Because this person's entire home was burnt just like that in that fire. And in that, he lost some really old manuscript, something which he had been preserving for so long, something which was some records which would never be heard again. So many such things which are very, very precious and most invaluable. But in the interview, this person he is not happy, of course, nobody will be happy, but he used the word he said, I don't know, it is a very big loss for me, but somehow I feel it's very beautiful. I was just surprised with the choice of word. I mean, everything is lost. He says, I'm seeing everything turned to dust. I mean, there's nothing where I'm standing right now. Behind me, this was all my memories with my family, everything. And I can't believe it just went off like that. It is gone. But still, it seems quite surreal, and in a way, it looks beautiful, is what he was saying. What has happened? And what is that? And very recently, I had a chance in to go to like Tirthan, which is near in the Himachal Pradesh. There, you see this every time during rainy season there are landslides, landslides. And the person who was driving our cab, he said, "ये वाला घर नहीं, ये मेरा है." He's showing in the landslide, and he's having a big smile. And a little bit ahead, he's going and showing me, वो ना वो मैंने होम स्टे बनाया था, वो भी चला गया. He's young. He's just around maybe my age, a few 1 or 2 years. And I said, "Wow, Shamsher ji, आप तो खैर सच्ची में शेर हो," because it was unbelievable to see him speak with such a balance. How can you have a smile? Like I could see the house, I could even see some pots, and it's happened nearly 8 months ago. And all his savings, all his dreams, everything has just got washed away, and it's not even completely washed away. He can see it every day, but he can't take it. He can't do anything about it. And yet he said, "This is life." He said, "ये पहाड़ है ना हमें सिखाता है." He says that's all his language was. This is the truth of life. We are nothing compared to the force of the divine. And he says, anytime it can happen, I don't care. It can happen again. He's now again trying to build. When I was leaving, I saw him try. He does driving also, he does the mason's work also, everything he is doing, a little bit of everything. But that is his way of life, and he has understood it. But the fact that he has come to terms with it, he said he had got a job in a city. I will not name the city, otherwise, people in that city should not feel offended. But in that city, which is a metro city, he said, I went there for 4 months. I came back running. I went for money, I went for job, but he said I could not sleep. When my house got washed away, everything went. I didn't have this trouble sleeping, how much I had just living there, and I came back. It's okay, I said to myself, and came back.
I
But
heard
yes, Sarita is saying something.
one interview, somebody said that why do you take so much of risk? You may lose so much of money. The
Okay.
person replied, I came empty handed, and what I'm getting is bonus. So if I
Yes,
lose something, it's nothing I'm losing. I'm nothing to lose. So
yes,
that
yes.
helps me
Abs-
to maintain my.
Balance and poise, isn't it? Yes, see, yes, see. Yes,
Yeah,
Neetaji is
I
adding
just wanted
something.
to ask, like for material possessions is okay, but when we lose somebody who's very close and we kind of are in that bliss and we don't respond or do whatever. So
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question
yeah,
again.
supposing
You
we
lose
lose
somebody
somebody
close. That part
close,
I understood.
and suppose that does it mean that we should not cry or mourn that person? or because then people will take you to a counselor that this person is not at all affected by the loss of somebody
No,
close.
no, that is nobody is going to celebrate somebody's departure, isn't it? The poise. I know of someone who has lost somebody very close, and the very same day that person went to the ashram to offer duty. Because it was very crazy, isn't it? It's like I have done my duty here. Immediately, he said, "I'll go." He took a bath, and that person went to offer service. He said,
That
"Now there's nothing.
that
I'll just
Prime
come to whoever
Minister,
is saying." Saritaji, before that,
that
I'll just complete. Yeah, one
okay,
moment. Yes, so it was not that this person had lost his wife actually, somebody he cared for so much. And yet, he said, I have to offer my service. I have done whatever I'm supposed to do. Let the other people do what they have to do. Now I'll go do my duty because this is not going to change anything. I'm not saying that that should be the SOP of a person, but it is possible to remain balanced. And because if you enter into a mourning, what happens then? Sometimes some people lose their very dear ones, and they're not able to come to terms with that loss. Then what happens is we say we should have emotions, but then these the emotions become a great source of sometimes burden to move forward also. Memories come, they come and flood a person so much because the person is so attached. The attachment is sometimes a problem. It creates scars. Sometimes a person will not at all take a step forward. And it's like life is suddenly on standstill because this happened. No, it happened because I did it. Because of me, I should have done something better. These are all, we can say, very nice thoughts. Yes, a good pious thought. I should have done something better. But like there is a Manache Shlok of Samartha Ramdas Swami, the guru of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. He had very nicely, मरे एक त्याचा दुजा शोक वाहे अकस्मात तोही पुढे जात आहे. When a person dies, for him the beloved cries, but even that person does not know that he too is going to ahead go. That person is also going to go to that same route, isn't it? Everyone is going. The mystery of death is that we all think it will happen to somebody else, not to us. But this detachment will allow us to handle it. Yes, I was coming to, I think, Kalaji and then Saritaji.
No, I
Kalaji
think
was
it
saying
was
something.
Sarita first.
Saritaji. Video is on, so priority. But
mm.
yeah, Saritaji, yes, please.
No, I
Yes,
read
please.
about Narendra Modi also that when
Okay.
he lost his mother, he
Yeah.
also performed his duties in the
Yes.
office. That means a
Yes.
person who's stable
Yes.
can means overcome the emotions, like Krishna has said that
Yes.
we should not
Yes.
grieve. A wise man doesn't grieve. So I
Na
think,
shochitum arhasi. Again and
yeah.
again, Krishna says that.
So I
Just,
think if we
just,
understand what is given in Gita, it will help
yes.
us to overcome the grief.
Yes, yes. Just before coming to Kalaji, it's like as Saritaji talked about the Prime Minister losing his mother, and somebody was very close to him. For him, it was a very emotionally important bond, and that is lost forever, isn't it? When a person leaves, and yet focusing on the actions, focusing on the duties, irrespective of what people are going to say. Just day before yesterday, I think it was. Very recently, we got a family member's son passed away, who ended his life, and that was a very difficult experience for a father. And yet, the father has dutifully done the duties of informing everybody, and it's immediately put out a message that one must never give up, one must always never lose hope. Let every individual understand that there is life, there are challenges, there are going to be failures, but we have to see that. How is this possible? People will be busy in their own grief, isn't it? Why will anybody think of anybody else? But we will see about a little bit about death in 8th chapter. It is going to be there. Why we should be calm and balanced even while facing this. But yes, that is the point. Kalaji is saying something. Yes, see.
Well, I had two examples. One is the Sholay movie where
Okay.
Sachin dies and he says, "Azan ka samay ho gaya hai, mujhe koi le
Okay.
chale."
Okay.
So yeah, his body is there, he goes.
Yes.
And another thing, this I forget the son is Pattabhirama Iyer or the father was Sir C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer, his son.
Okay. Ji.
He was my father's beach pal. So every
Oh,
morning and evening he came to the beach to do Sandhya Vandan. So that
okay.
evening he came and he said, I don't know how many understand Tamil. I know you understand. He says,
Ji.
Adimel Adi Satyamurthy Ayyare. The longer you live, the more
Huh.
hardships you have to see. I've just done the cremation of my daughter and come
Oh,
here. I mean, daughter
oh,
was 77, but
uh,
she had no
yeah.
children and her husband had died. So he was the only one. But he
Uh,
never wavered from his.
yeah. Yes, Kalaji. Thank you
Yes.
for
Thank
sharing
you.
that.
Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Also, I wanted to say that isn't this a sign of a person who's truly understood the meaning that it's just the body that goes, but the soul keeps
Yes.
coming back?
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. There are so many people who are still with me. They have left this world, but they are still with me. Maybe I'll get a chance to meet them because they were such wonderful souls. I don't think they can just disappear like that. But they don't leave us until we take them out of their heart. Nobody is gone. If they are there in our hearts, they live with us. There was one Gita participant, one sir, an English teacher. He used to call Krishna Joker, which was very difficult for me because he's quite senior. I cannot tell anything to him because we had studied a shloka where everybody is allowed to have their own personal relation with the divine. But he had given such beautiful commentaries, his own words or explanations of various shlokas afterwards, his audios, they just kept reminding, and it was something so special. But he's still with us. Venugopalji, his name. But it is something. It is people don't really leave us forever. They will be in our heart. Our ancestors, we have not met them, isn't it? They are there in our consciousness. They are there in our genes, whether or not we know them. Why even the Gita, we don't know what we might have been in Kurukshetra. Who knows Pandavan's side or Kauravans side, whatever. But it is this that we have to realize that there is no need to get disturbed, as Induji rightly said. That is a mark of a maturity of a soul, not to be disturbed by even the worst news. You're able to take it with a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper. Then we can say you have gone ahead. And that is the greatest. Yes, Kalaji, say something.
Just to add
Yes, yes.
one more thing, that Sir C.P. Pattabhirama Iyer, he had lost his daughter and son-in-law on holy day at Juhu Beach. Both
Oh,
were washed away.
oh, sorry to hear that. Yes, ji, yes. And this is why sadhana needs to be done. If somebody says, why walk on the spiritual path? Well, because we want these shock absorbers. Life is going to keep throwing us shocks when we are going to least expect them. We have to get our own, what we can say, support system to move ahead. We have to, that is why we have to follow. We have to do dhyana. We have to make our minds strong. We have to make our bodies also, what we say, like a vajra, strong as that, so nothing can disturb. That is why sadhana is needed. Krishna goes on further. Let us look at the next one. Tam vidyad dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanyatam sa nishchayena yoktavyo. Yogo nirvana chetasa. So, why is it that we have to walk on the path? What is the need for this treasures, whatever Krishna is talking about? Well, if we identify that also, it's enough, isn't it? When we were very young, my grandfather used to have this Rama Raksha Stotra chanting, and he would do it very nicely, meticulously. He would move his hands and show different symbols, everything. But for me, that time, whenever my mind was very chanchal, one thing that was keeping me glued to it was the little bit at the end he would give this candied sugar. So he's going to give a little bit. The joy of receiving it from him was the driving factor. That was the gain of gains for me, and that was why I would go and sit there without my knowledge because of listening. I even remember him moving his hands also exactly. That stotra came into the head just by looking at him. Well, something like that. Why should we do this sadhana? Krishna says here. It is from the sufferings that the mind has to be freed. A union with the divine is yoga's true aim and need. An inseparable union is to be courageously sought, cheerfully bracing the hurdles by which the path is wrought. I repeat this. It is from the sufferings that the mind has to be freed. A union with the divine is yoga's true aim and need. An inseparable union is to be courageously sought, cheerfully bracing the hurdles by which the path is wrought. So, why do we have to do sadhana? Well, we want to free our mind from sufferings. How many of us experience pain? Everybody, isn't it? Everybody. But do we need to suffer? Is suffering mandatory or necessary with pain? It is not. When we are attached, it's like one side we have to aspire for good thoughts. Bhadram karne shrunyam devaha bhadram pashimakshabhirijatraha. We aspire for auspicious things, but because of our attachments, what do? When we are in pain, we cry out more and attract more and more sorrow, more and more troubles, and then we start suffering. Say we have fever. What is the best thing we can do when we have fever? Anybody? What is the best thing that can be done?
Rest.
Rest, isn't it? Rest, probably the medication, whichever pathy you are using, whichever mode you prefer, take the medicine, have faith, have trust, and go quiet, isn't it?
Take
You should not
medicine
start
and
thinking of Rekhaji, yes, sorry,
take take medicines and rest peacefully.
rest, isn't it? Rest
Yes,
requires physical and mental also, no?
yes, yes,
If you
yes.
start start overworking with your mind, what's going to happen? There's a chance that your fever will not leave you quickly because
Yes.
that disturbs your consciousness, your psyche, this entire system gets disturbed further. So the simplest and the nicest thing you can do is experience that. Otherwise, you attach sufferings. I remember when I had fever, I was going to go abroad before for my higher studies. In my fever, I was in delirium. I was already visualizing I am going to another country. There, my after I'm being rejected from the institute only, and all these thoughts were happening in fast forward, and I was shaking and shivering in my fever. I was not able to control my mind. This is what happens in life also. Bad moments come, we amplify the bad moments and suffer so much. So to have the strength, we have to first of all free ourselves from suffering, and for that sadhana is required. How do we free ourselves? When we realize we are not alone, when we
But
realize we are,
sometimes,
yes,
sorry,
Rekhaji,
but
yes,
sometimes the pain is so much that we keep on thinking on that only, ki how the pain will get over, yeah, how we get
yes,
relief.
yes,
So
yes,
our
yes, and
mind is continuously on that only, thinking about that.
yes. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. Pain, whatever pain it may be, physical or emotional,
Yes,
it
whatever
sometimes
pain.
gets overwhelming. It gets overwhelming.
Yes,
We don't have
yes.
Ushaji. Umaji sometimes joins our batch. Once in a while, she keeps coming into the sessions. She's been joining for several sessions. But she's a very good example of someone who has been bearing excruciating pain with a smile. She is able to smile. Her right leg was paining so much. She said, Krishna, please sit on my left leg now. It's not bearable. And she said, my pain went down. Somebody would say, what kind of magic is that? Well, that is her experience. She's experiencing that. She's learned how to not suffer. And that is a very important skill. And it's a skill which healers also have. Healers are not those who don't have any troubles, no? Sometimes they have a lot of troubles, but in that also they don't stop their healing. They don't pull themselves out of the equation just because they are in certain troubles. I think a very famous ghazal is there, isn't it? तुम इतना जो मुस्कुरा रहे हो क्या गम है जिसको छुपा रहे हो what is it? But one need not have to hide pain also if you can actually truly experience a bliss. And that bliss comes when you have company of the divine. that comes when you are conscious that you are now in the protection of the divine. You are not doing it. World's entire weight is not on your head, it is on divine's head. And he has so many heads, Sastra, Shirasha, Purusha. So we don't have to worry. All that those heads, they have a lot of terabytes of memory space. We don't have to worry at all. Let's offer that. So you take yourself out of that equation, at least from the difficult moments, pass it on to the divine. When we were very young, what would we do? Our difficult moments would disappear when we go to our parents, our elders. So if we can establish a relation with the divine, well, that's something. So this is the reason. It's from the sufferings that the mind has to be freed. A union with the divine is yoga's true aim and need. An inseparable union is to be courageously sought, cheerfully bracing the hurdles by which the path is wrought. The courage is required because on the spiritual path, you have to practice detachment. You have to let go of all the things that you so, cherish. Sometimes you possess, or your attachments are so much, isn't it? We can't let go of them. And what does the spiritual path ask you? Krishna's very first sloka, one of the first slokas was Mam phaleshu kadachanam karmanyeva adhikaraste. You have the adhikar only to do the works, not seek the fruits. Spirituality asks you to surrender everything to the divine. That is the beginning. Your spiritual path will not begin without a surrender. So, whom do we surrender to? We say surrender to God. How does God look? Nobody knows. Nobody has seen God. So, you have to surrender to a God that you have not seen, you have not heard, you've not even felt. You just want to know. You somewhere hope He is there. And to that being, you have to surrender everything. What a difficult thing. Only a brave person can do that. And that is how people start. And the spiritual path. Yes, Kalaji, I'll just come in a moment. One moment. So the surrender is done initially to the divine. That requires courage, what we call a leap of faith. That is taken. And what happens afterwards then? As one starts going ahead, then the experiences start coming. But that courage is required. So on the spiritual path, not anybody can tread. Those who have the courage can only tread. And how is it? Krishna is not saying that it's going to be a very wonderful, cheerful path or very simple path, a path without hurdles. It is going to be a path with hurdles. Some people say it will have more hurdles. Whatever it is, brace it cheerfully, is what Krishna is saying. Cheerfully face the hurdles with courage. That is the principle Krishna is saying. Yes, Kalaji, we're saying something.
I'm saying we are all brave. Which
Yes.
one of us knows our life will go beautifully? But we still marry, we procreate, we do everything
Yes.
in the hope that things
Yes.
will go. But
Yes.
when
So it
they
is in our
don't
nature.
go,
It is in our nature. It is in our
yes.
nature. So same nature, we have to take it and we have to face our difficult moments with that same bravery indeed.
But when they don't go, we start cursing. That is where
Yeah.
we have to stop ourselves. Otherwise, I mean,
Okay. Yes.
period.
Yes.
Buddha has told us life is suffering, but we want to experiment it for ourselves, so don't complain. Experiment. That is my
Okay.
thinking.
Yes, Kalaji. All right, ji. So the Ananda, it's like Anandasya Putra. Let us experience that. For that, we have to be ready to face challenges. Let's go on. Krishna goes on. He says, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kamans Tyaktva Sarvan Sheshataha Manasaivendriyagramam Viniyamya Samantataha. Originating from the thoughts, the desires of every kind must be dispelled and banished from the mind. The senses that scatter the thoughts must be in control held. From dispersing to their whims, the mind must be withheld. So, for freeing your mind from suffering, you have to train your mind, and the first way of training the mind is to control your thoughts. Because from the thoughts only desires are born. The desires are originate from the thoughts. So you have to dispel right at the source. You're not going to trim some weeds. They'll become deeper. Instead, right at the source, go to the source, root of the origin of the thought, and put that away. The senses that scatter the thoughts must be in control, held, and from dispersing to their whims, the mind must be withheld. Self control must be held, is what Krishna is saying. How does it happen? Not immediately, it happens slowly. Krishna says, Shanai Shanai Ruparamet Buddhya Dhruti Gruhitaya Atmasanstham Manah Kritva Na Kinchidapi Chintayet. This is the highest state. Na kinchidapi chintayet. Not a single thought is there in that mind which is in full control. But to reach that state, you will not reach immediately. It will come slowly. Shanaihi, Shanaihi. Krishna says here, step by step, one must gradually turn inwards and think of nothing else that is outwards. With the intelligence focused in concentration, one must engage in the self's meditation. Krishna is again emphasizing meditation. Slowly, steadily, turn inwards, step by step. Think of nothing else on the outside. That is the message for meditation Krishna is giving. But the mind still wanders away, isn't it? When you are looking, you start observing your mind. For that, Krishna has the next shloka. He says, Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalam masthiram tatastato niyamyaitat atmani eva vasham nayed. And every single time, so Krishna says, every single time when the mind goes astray, becoming unsteady, and when it begins to sway, the mind must be reined in and secured, and the consciousness of the self must be reassured. When you are doing dhyana, when you are controlling your thoughts, what's going to happen? Mind will run away. But every time the mind runs away, bring it back. Bring it back is what Krishna is saying. Rein in that mind, make it secured. The consciousness of the self must be reassured. There's a farmer nearby in our village. It's next to our unit only. He has cows. He's quite old, but he takes the cows out for grazing. What does he do is a very interesting thing. He allows the cows to graze up to a particular circle. But the moment it goes away, he says, hike, hike, and he calls it back, and the crowd from somewhere far also can, where it listens and it listens. And because he has established that he is in charge, like that, we have to establish that we are in charge. Every time the thoughts are going away, just think of this like the farmer. You have to say, hey, where are you going? I'm meditating right now on the divine. I'm not worrying about divine junk food right now. So throw that away. I am going to think. Suddenly, mind is going, you are starting to participate, again re-establish. Because that is the way you are going to slowly control. It's not going to happen overnight. But trust me, when that happens, you are going to, it's like suddenly a great upgradation of your own operating system only. It's like we have a system which is still having Windows 95. That is so old. It is so slow, but somebody here is familiar with it, they will use that. But imagine if you are going to upgrade yourself, that would be lovely, isn't it? And that is why we have to rein in our consciousness. I want to establish who is in charge. Krishna goes on, Prashanta Manasam Yenam Yoginam Sukhamuttamam Upaite Shantarajasam Brahmabhuta Makalmasham. A pure quietude, devoid of any strong emotion. He is the gain of the seeker of the divine union. Attains he gnosis of the Brahma, the supreme realization, experiencing the infinite bliss of the soul's emancipation. What is the gain of this dhyana yogi, of this yogi who is engaging in meditation? A brilliant, pure quietude, an ethereal quietude, which is not going to be disturbed by any strong emotion. he gets in that quietude only the divine realization comes, the experience what is the highest. Krishna goes on experiencing the infinite bliss of the soul's emancipation. Experience of divinity is the greatest experience man can get. And that comes, that allows a soul to progress. It is an emancipation. It is something so special. Krishna goes on, he says, Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma swansparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. When he is thus unblemished, passionless, and free, constantly in the state of union he can be. Such a yogi is always in the state of highest joy, as the understanding of the Creator he can enjoy. Krishna says, when he is thus unblemished, passionless, that person is free. He's like what we can say, an empty canvas. What can be done with an empty canvas? Everything. Everything. And if you are allowing the divine to be the painter, well, a masterpiece will be painted on that canvas. So that person is so calm and so free and so perfect, flawless in the inside. The such a yogi is always in a state of the highest joy. Has the understanding of the creator, he can enjoy, he gets some kind of glimpse, some tidings of the divine world. He understands the working of things. And that is why a lot of yogis that we have seen, they're always smiling, isn't it? Even the photos sometimes give us the peace, that bliss. Yes, Kalaji wants to say something. Yeah. No, all right. Automatically the hand went up digitally. All right, let's continue. So this, if you see, there are photos of various Babas and various yogis. You see a very great, serene smile on the face. Why is that smile? It's not because they have something wrong in their head. It's actually they are connected with some higher consciousness, and that allows them to see behind the veil of things, behind the veil of Maya, the working of the divine, the game of the divine at play. They can smile even looking at outer ordinary events because they can see things beyond the ordinary. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. We talked about samatvam, isn't it? Samaloštashma kanchanaha, clay, gold, stone, equality in moments, equality in objects, equality in people. Well, these are the ones who are seeing equality in the divine everywhere. There is a story, if I recollect, it is about one yogi walks, he's entering into a village. He's eating something and he's riding a donkey. So there are three people. One of them is the head of the village. Everybody see that coming and they start looking at it because they feel it's very comical sight. And when the yogi comes closer, they start bursting out in laughter, looking at the comical sight. And the yogi looks at them and starts laughing even more loudly. Now these people are insulted. They say, why is he laughing? I was laughing at his comical avatar. Why is he laughing? They call him and they ask him, why are you laughing? He said, I'm just blissful. And his answer was simple. He said, Brahma is sitting on Brahma and is eating Brahma. So I was wondering, hey Brahma, why are you laughing? Meaning he is seeing the Brahma Tattva everywhere. There's no difference. The outer aspects have not, who is not divine? Everybody is divine. That Samadrushti has come into the individual. That is what Krishna says. That's how Swami Vivekananda can go and say, my brothers and sisters of America. It's like people are not even able to imagine that. My religion makes me separate. My nationality makes me separate. I am distinct. I am better than you. Everybody is talking about it and they're forgetting this principle of universal love and brotherhood. And here one line just deflates all those narrow-minded thoughts. And then everybody gives a standing ovation because that is the yogi. A yogi is universal. That universal understanding comes to the person who has reached that realization. is no more bound by limited, whether it is a cultural limitation, organizational limitation, any such limitation, ideological limitation. This is a free soul, a free, liberated spirit. Such a man who has attained the union universal acquires he a perspective equal and global, for he sees the self in all and all in the self, and he discriminates not others from himself. This is the next step of oneness. Equality in all moments, equality in all objects, equality in all people. Now, equality in the individual and others. We always give ourselves a longer rope, isn't it? How many times have we given the benefit of doubt to ourselves? Well, every time. How many times do we give that to our friends? Very rarely. Or others? Never. So this aspect, I will not discriminate. Same scale that I'm using for others, objects, people, I will also use to myself. Whether or not somebody is watching, if I'm doing wrong, I should first be clear in my conscience. This is wrong and I cannot do it. Because that discrimination is not allowed at all. It's not going to help you grow. It will lead to more troubles later, and that the yogi understands, and it comes quite naturally without even consciously trying. This is the shloka. This is actually yoga that Venugopalji I talked about. It was whenever I read the shloka, I hear his voice only because he had very beautifully said in this particular shloka. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. He who everywhere sees only me, and in everyone me only he can see. To him I can never lost be, and he is never lost to me. Krishna says that such a person is never lost from the consciousness of the divine, the one who can see everywhere only the divine, and in everyone only the divine. That person will never lose the touch with the divine and is never lost. Krishna goes on, Sarvabhutastitam yo mam bhajatyekatvamassthitam. Sorry, bhajatyekatvamassthitam sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. He who in every being's oneness believes firmly and loves me in every living being truly. His action and living, whatsoever may be his way, he lives and acts in my consciousness every day. Krishna is saying that somebody who is experiencing this oneness, he who in every being's oneness firmly believes and loves me, recognizes my presence. Should we see the divine only in those who are following our spiritual path? No, isn't it? Divine is everywhere. The wretched sinner to the saint, from the elephant to the cow, in animals and things, all creatures, great, small, all things bright, wonderful. Everywhere we can see the divine in that person who believes it, who loves me and every living being truly. His action and living, whatsoever may be his way, irrespective of what that person is doing, Krishna is saying. However, that person may be living like a very lavish king or living like a pauper, living whichever role that person is playing. When he is doing this, Krishna says, that person is living, breathing, dwelling in my consciousness only. That you can be assured of. So, one interesting way of connecting with the divine, if we are not getting the rasa in bhakti, if we are not getting the rasa in the various mantras, we are not getting rasa in the scriptural study. Well, this is another route. See oneness, recognize the divine's presence in the world, and watch what transformation is going to take place. You'll be living, you will be breathing, you'll be dwelling. Whatever you do, you'll be confirming with the scriptures. Scriptures will confirm what you are understanding in that consciousness to be a truth. Even the Isha Upanishad, so beautiful it is. It talks about first recognizing oneness. That time the great yogi calls upon God to give the blessing and power. What is the power that the yogi is aspiring? Yatte kalyanatmam tatte pashyami. In the brilliant things in the world, give me the strength. Hey Pushan Bhagwan, hey Pushan, give me the strength to recognize your presence in the most brilliant things in the world. And then the next part, and then realize that I too am thee. That is the second part. First part is realize the divine in everyone, and then realize that what they call Aham Brahmasmi, that highest realization. Krishna goes on further. We look at one more shloka. Atmaupam yena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. Who Krishna rates to be the greatest yogi, the highest yogi, the Shrestha yogi. That is what we see here. As the self's image, when everything he perceives, O Arjuna, in an equanimity and oneness he believes. In both joy and grief, a steadfast poise he retains. Becoming closest to me, the highest position he attains. Krishna says, such a person becomes divine, comes closest to me. He attains the highest position as a yogi. When he sees that equanimity, when he sees that oneness. A simple question comes to mind. Don't you think this is quite practicable? I mean, isn't it possible for us to, at least maybe theoretically, see oneness? Anybody? If yes, why is it? How can we see it? At least in theory. Practice we'll see later, but at least theory can be set up. Yes, Abhaji.
Yeah, by theory, it's good to learn and
In
understand.
principle, it's possible, isn't it?
In principle,
Yes.
it's so good to learn, but in practice, to practice, it's very difficult.
Is it impossible, Abhaji? In practical.
It's difficult.
Difficult. Okay, it's difficult is what Abhaji is saying. Yes. Anybody?
Like Krishna said, keep bringing it back, like keep remembering that
Yes.
everything is divine. So he only hints at that. So we could follow that. And, every time you're feeling hatred for somebody or you're feeling something strong for somebody, kind of remind yourself that this is also divine. He's also divine.
Okay, he's also divine. Yes, yes. Sometimes people we don't like at all. It's very difficult to see the divine in those people. And it is a big challenge. But I really have been helped by people I don't like at times. Whether or not they did it purposely is a different story. But the divine is like what we can say behind the veil of things. One person was there on that particular road, which made me avoid that road. And because I avoided that road, I something wonderful happened elsewhere. But look at that. So I should be grateful or not? Or should I still be annoyed? I don't like that person, so I deny any credit to him. I don't think we need to do that. We can we can do that when it's very interesting. If we and this is not something which has to be artificially, mentally thought. Krishna is not pressuring us to do anything. He's just giving us thoughts, experience, and see oneness. And then when you experience it truly, Krishna says, when you can truly experience it, you will reach a you will reach a place closest to me. That's what he says. Yes, anybody wishes to add something? Is it? No.
I
Okay.
wanted to say that sometimes oneness also leads to indifference where you are not affected by anything, where you have evolved to that stage that you become indifferent to
But
goodness, to goodness of course, but to anything which is not good, you're just indifferent, you just move on. So that, I guess,
no,
oneness makes you see that. Is would that be fair to say that?
indifference means you are not caring at all.
No, I'm not talking
Instead,
of, not in terms of caring, but in
huh,
terms of through the eyes of oneness, you become,
oneness,
yeah, through the eyes
neutral.
of
Can we
oneness.
say in equilibrium or neutral? Can we
Uh,
use that word? That will
maybe,
become,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
isn't it?
maybe.
Yes, because
Maybe.
generally indifference becomes in English language, at least sometimes it indicates I'm indifferent to my friend's trouble. That means I am not having empathy.
No,
So I
I'm
think
not
you are,
relating to that.
yeah,
I'm just
got
relating
it.
to the bad side of somebody, a bad behavior.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I'm relating to that kind of
Yes,
a
yes,
behavior.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, it's like I've got used to my neighbor now. If I'm seeing oneness, this person is going to, just do these things only. And I look at,
Yeah,
ah, yes, namaste,
yeah,
thank you. Yes, yes, you call me again terrorist? Okay, thank you. Oh,
yeah. So
the balance has to come, isn't it? That
yeah,
balance should allow us to see that it's all
yeah,
right. This person will function in this way. This is the route. You come back to that particular, your balance is not lost. Yes. Anybody wants to add something? Is it?
I just uh, I wanted to share one experience.
Yeah.
There was one event in a family, and you can say that Vastu Puja, what we call.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, after that we had food there. And after everything, everybody's lunch is over, we cleaned up the place. But still, there were some flies.
Hmm.
Flies had come because of the food remains on the floor.
Okay.
So there were some guests. One of the guests, who is quite senior person, he said. Then we brought that spray to kill those flies and close the room
Okay.
and all those to manage those flies.
Okay.
But that senior person said, I was so disturbed when you sprayed that the medicine or that this thing
Okay.
on the flies to kill them. I was feeling as if somebody is doing it to me.
Okay. Yes. So that's probably an
So
empathy. Yes. Yes. But so
yeah,
maybe,
so
yes.
is it that level of consciousness we
Well,
expect
that's
one to?
oversensitivity is also a trouble at times, isn't it?
Yeah, so we need to clean also for our safety.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Dharma
So
is there. Yes.
so
I got
that
a message that yes,
how
yes,
to
yes.
interpret that event or
No,
that
that's oversensitivity, isn't it? It's an
that
oversensitivity. It is
reaction.
actually you're connecting like Arjuna was feeling for Duryodhana also, no? So he didn't want to take part in the battle.
Mm.
So that is what we can say, misplaced compassion at times. But I would not judge your that elder in the family. But you can say you can
No, no,
appreciate his
it's
sensitivity.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
You can
So
appreciate his sensitivity. You can appreciate his empathy. Wow, he is caring as much as he cares for me. He is also caring for those flies, and we can probably
yeah, but I just
rest that
wanted to
issue there.
understand.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Yes.
understand, is that level of rise of conscious or is
No, see,
expected?
if you are very, very conscious, you would probably use some kind of maybe not chemical spray, some other organic spray, which will actually be good for even the little kids in the room, all of it. But I would say that's just what we can say. Should he be not killing the fly would be a problem, isn't it? The shaucha is lost, so that duty
Yeah.
is required. All right. Okay, I think we're okay. The time is also up, but okay, Kalaji is saying
Oh,
something.
this
Yeah,
friend of mine, if she kills a cockroach, she'll say, go have a better birth in next life and kill it.
yeah. Right. Right now, there was a frog while I was taking the class close to my leg. I could maintain Samatha probably and not get disturbed. After the class, I'll have to find out where it came from. But I think this is interesting that Samatha and oneness and Krishna is talking about a universal understanding, yoga, dhyana. We'll just look at one shloka in short because we were expecting Arjuna to show his report card that is coming out in the next shloka. How much he understood. How wonderful Krishna is telling a chance to become close to me, and what is Arjuna reacting? Let us see now. Arjuna Uvacha. योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलं चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिरम्. Oh Krishna, this yoga of oneness expounded by finds not any understanding or resonance with me. For its nuances, I still cannot grasp or find. I'm still feeling quite restless within my mind. Krishna gave him two techniques of dhyana, told him how to control the mind. He told him, become quiet, everything. Na kinchidapi chintayet. He says, mind of yogi is like a flame which will not flicker. He says, my mind is definitely restless. As far as this yoga, what you are talking about, Brahma, Nirvana, all of this, everything, he says, I don't understand one bit. It does not resonate with me at all. Like, imagine teaching a subject in mathematics, some particular theorem is being taught. The student doesn't ask a question in the theorem. He says, I don't understand mathematics only. What will the teacher do? That's how Krishna is now having to deal with Arjuna. He says, I understand nothing in the sixth adhyaya. Let us see. We will see what Krishna is going to respond. So, with this, we are ready to conclude today's session. If somebody can share some take home points, we'll look at it. Krishna will not get angry. That is one thing we know for sure. So, let's see. Yes, Shwetaji.
So for me, this last shloka we did, I'm suddenly wondering if for Arjuna, like, in the middle of crisis, that flight freeze response is there. Probably if this would have happened when he was like, in a neutral state, he could have like, he has the
Yeah, when he was
capacity
attending a
to,
workshop, maybe it would have been
yeah,
easier.
yeah, in the middle of battlefield, I mean, it's difficult then what, because he's feeling restless. So that's what came to me. But otherwise,
Yes,
yeah, my takeaway today is like again equanimity. It is
equanimity. Yes.
so attractive, like, to think that it is our destiny, not in this lifetime, probably in some other lifetime, but to move towards it.
Why not in this life? Krishna says,
Yeah.
Ihaiva Tejita Sargo. This is the birth. This is the
Yeah,
birth we
that
can
is
realize it.
attractive, most attractive
Yes,
to be
yes.
empty, to become that empty canvas, jahan pe like
God
it
will
is,
only write the
yeah,
story.
it's
No?
so unknown but infinite
Yes,
possibilities. So yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yes,
That's very nice.
Shwetaji. And it is very interesting how in life, I don't think we are, maybe we are attending a workshop right now, but doesn't mean we are not participating in the battle of life, isn't it? Each one of us. So we are in the battle of life, and in that life only, in the battle only, we have to practice all of these techniques that Krishna is giving. We'll have to see how it is. We know the story, what happens when we practice these techniques. We know what happened in the Mahabharata. So let us see. I think with this, if anybody wishes to add any other take-home points, or we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Right. Okay. Let's conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम पुनर्मिलामः we see you tomorrow namaste
Thank you.
tomorrow is
Namaste, Hari Om.
World
Thank
Union Day
Namaste.
actually
Thank you.
Thank
namaste
you.
thank you thank you
you.
Hari Om. Kalaji wants to say something no all right okay bye yeah namaste.
What is the World Union Day? Like we just
Yeah,
know.
it's actually, it is not yet declared universally, but the mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram has declared 20th August as World Union Day. Our future of mankind is in this union. The time would come when that will be manifest. So we are coming, and we are talking about oneness. Well, we are coming close to that, anyways. Yes, Hari Om.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Hari
Thank you.
Om.
Bye.
Namaste.